What's up everybody, this is Scott with 512 Garage.
And I'm Greg. And
today we're going to be installing a full aero kit on Greg's C6 Corvette from Extreme Online Store. And I'm happy to announce that the 512garage.com website now carries the full line of EOS products.
Yep, now this is a little bit strange. I'm actually taking an EOS kit off of my car, but it's their old product. It's a thinner vacuum formed plastic. And today we're installing their newer, thicker ABS plastic kit. It's a much more like a factory finish. And we have it in 3 different finishes today to demonstrate to you guys. So we have painted gloss, raw plastic, and the primer black on the rear spoiler. So just to illustrate that it comes in a whole bunch of different finishes for whatever you like.
That's right, and we're gonna get started with that front splitter. So we need to get your car in the garage.
Yeah, we do.
All this happening right here.
Right now.
In the 512 Garage.
So the first thing we're going to install is going to be the front lip. It comes with all the hardware that you need, and so do the rest of the pieces. They all come with all the hardware. And we're going to do this one first because it's the most complicated. There's the most mounting points. These are all already pre-drilled, which makes it nice. So the side skirts and the rear spoiler, we may need to drill some holes. But let's get the front lip on.
All right, you guys, now that we've got Greg's car up on the lift, it's time to get that front splitter installed. And it's always good to have an extra set of hands to help hold that splitter in place while you line up all of the holes. And of course, Greg already has holes in the front of his C6 ready to go from the old splitter. But if you haven't drilled holes in your front end yet, we can recommend using a 5/32 drill bit in order to make those pilot holes. You can also use some painter's tape or even some double-sided mounting tape to hold that splitter in place while you pre-drill those holes. And another thing we can recommend is start with the back corners here and then work your way to the front on each side. So what do you say we get the splitter up on the car and screwed down? So the great thing about this EOS kit is that it uses some of the factory mounting locations and factory hardware. So it's a few less holes you have to drill in the front of your car. All right guys, with Greg finishing up the screws in the front splitter, let's talk a little bit about these ZR1 style side skirts. Now they do come in a couple finishes. This is the primer black finish. So head on over to the 512garage.com website to check out all of your options for not only these side skirts, but the front splitter and the spoilers as well. Now these side skirts do come pre-drilled with all the holes, and they use factory mounting locations as well. So as soon as he's done with that front splitter, we're gonna move on to these side skirts. All right guys, now that the front splitter is all finished up, we have the side skirt in place, and we removed the rear wheel so we could gain access to the factory bolts in the wheel well here. And here's a hot tip for you guys. You want to attach the mud flap on the rear first because it helps align the rest of the side skirt front and back.
Yep, and I'm just going to send the last screw in, and then we'll show you guys what it looks like installing the screws along the kick panel down here. All right, now with the side skirts done, we're gonna move to the back of the car and install the spoiler.
All right guys, before we install that spoiler, we've got to remove the taillights on this C6 so we can gain access to the inside of the rear fascia. That way we can remove the third brake light and drill our holes.
All right guys, now that we have the third brake light off the back of the car, we need to transfer the actual light itself from the stock unit here into the EOS spoiler, which is as simple as removing these two studs here, and this will pop out, and then we use the supplied hardware to put it into the spoiler. All right guys, now that we have the light installed, I went ahead and put in all of the hardware that's going to hold the spoiler to the car, just finger tight, and we're going to actually put some paint on these so that we can mark the position on the back of the car. And I have it all taped off so that we can just mark on the tape where we're going to need to drill our holes. These ones already exist in the car, but these outer two on each side, we're gonna have to drill fresh. All right guys, so we got all the bolts marked up with a little bit of paint. Scott's gonna help me flip it over and put it in place. We just used some of the studs to help us guide it in and make sure that we're all squared left to right. This might make some of you a little uncomfortable, but I'm about to drill 4 holes across the back of my Corvette. I'm going to use a small bit to create a pilot hole first, using the paint marks that we made just a minute ago. All right, now that we have our 4 pilot holes drilled, I'm going to take a 9/32 drill bit, which is a little bit bigger than the threads and smaller than the washers on our hardware, and open these holes up.
You ready to get this spoiler on now?
Let's do it.
All right.
So I'm just going to get all the hardware started by hand. All right guys, with the last bolt in, we're going to get the taillights back in, which again is just the T15 screws across all 4, and we're going to get this outside and see how it looks. Let's get to it.
All right, Greg, what do you think of your car now that we've got the EOS front splitter, side skirts, and that spoiler on the back?
Well, first of all, the spoiler really makes the kit. It really completes the look. The front lip is what I had, but it's much nicer because it's new. Side skirts, same deal. But man, I love it, Scott. It looks really good. The spoiler really finishes it off. All right guys, the car's all wrapped up. It looks great. I love how the whole package came together, and you guys can find all those parts and more on the Five12Garage.com website. Scott, what do you say we wrap this video up?
Yeah, like Greg said, his car turned out fantastic. And yes, if you're interested in any of those parts from Extreme Online Store, hop on over to Five12Garage.com and pick up some for yourself. We've got the full line of Extreme Online Store parts and accessories. We also have some merch. So You can buy one of these hats and one of these shirts over at Five12Garage.com as well if you'd like one for yourself. If you have any questions about anything you saw in this video or any of our other videos, you can always shoot an email to scott@team512.com. And don't forget, smash that like button, and if this is your first time to the channel, a big thanks for stopping by and spending some of your day with us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. And as always, leave me some comments, because we love interacting with people who love cars and Corvettes just as much as we do. Till next time, see ya.